Run.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to On the Run, and it is Friday the 26th of January, Australia Day for you. For me it is late on Thursday the 25th of January, and yes, I am still in lovely Melbourne. Those of you who have seen a few On the Runs in the past may recognise my back courtyard here of my house in Melbourne. So yes, still in Melbourne. I was hoping to be in Bangkok by now, but a few circumstances have not allowed that, so Melbourne it is. Look, let's get into the news of the week and what's been going on. We're starting to get into the year now, and there has been some quite interesting news this week. We'll start in Sydney. The Star Brisbane, which is obviously run out of Sydney, announced that Daniel Finch will be the CEO of Star Brisbane. So Robbie Cook is the CEO of the parent company, the whole, a bit like Kieran is for Crown. Kieran Carruthers is for Crown Resorts. Robbie Cook is for Star Entertainment, and of course they are looking to get a CEO in each of their properties in Sydney, in Brisbane and in Melbourne, and they've now announced Daniel Finch to be the CEO in Brisbane. He is not a gaming guy. If you look at his background, he comes from online travel and hotel sales. He most recently has been with Expedia and What If. Those of you in Australia might be familiar with What If, an online travel agency. He has basically spent most of his career, or all of his career I think, in Queensland, and a hotel revenue and sales guy, and of course he will be responsible for Queen's Wharf. Queen's Wharf, a big project of Star. So we wish Daniel Finch luck in the new position, and let's see how he goes. Okay, moving on now to Korea and INSPIRE. Things are really hotting up for INSPIRE, and Chen Si, the COO, president, sorry, I should say, of INSPIRE up there in Incheon, at the side of the airport, well actually on the island near the airport, about an hour's drive south of Seoul. Mohegan Sun property, of course, and they needed a 5-star hotel rating before they were allowed to open their gaming because of the rules there in Korea, and they have now received that, so they can move forward and get gaming and hopefully start making a bit of money from the gaming floor. So good luck to everybody up there at INSPIRE in Korea, and I'm hoping to get there quite soon, perhaps in the next month or so, to go check it out. And if I do, of course, I will do an on the run from INSPIRE. So let's look forward to that. Now, what else? Oh, Manila, yes, PAGCOR laid off 665 staff at New Coast in Malate in Manila. So this is the property that IAG, the Hong Kong company, is going to be taking over and turning into a proper integrated resort. Apparently, they're going to be investing $1.2 billion in that. They've recently bought 382 slot machines from our friends at RGB. So good luck to IEC, and that, I guess, will be a 5th integrated resort for Manila on top of Solaire, Arcada Manila, Newport World Resorts and City of Dreams Manila. So let's see how that goes. But having these 665 layoffs from PAGCOR does raise fears within the gaming world in Manila that more layoffs from PAGCOR are coming as a result of the privatisation. I think, you know, that has to happen. So I think the CEO and chairman of PAGCOR, Alejandro Tenco, is working hard to alleviate concerns about that. But I think it's a natural result of the privatisation. I think people will come to realise that and start, well, looking at where their careers may or may not end up. Now, let's move over to Macau. And the MGTO came out this week and said that they're looking for 33 million visitors to Macau in 2024. The MGTO director, Helena de Sena Fernandez, said this. She said that they have road shows planned in the first half of the year for Thailand, Malaysia, various other places in Southeast Asia, and this is obviously a theme of the Macau government. They want to get more play. They've already set a target of 10% of visitors to Macau being from outside of China. China, of course, being Hong Kong, Taiwan and Greater China. So that, if you divide 33 million by 366, because of course there's 366 days in 2024, not 365, you get about 90,000 a day. The average pre-pandemic, the average in 2019 was 108,000 a day, so fairly close. Helena said that the January average has been around 70 to 80,000 a day, and on weekends as high as 100,000. So anyway, pretty much back to pre-pandemic levels. Let's see how we go. Still in Macau, Morgan Stanley came out and said that they expect mass GGR to be up 25% in 2024. Now, Morgan Stanley has always been bullish, but I think with good reason. And they also expect EBITDA to be up 34%. So if they expect GG up to be 25% and they expect EBITDA to be up 34%, they obviously expect an increase in the margin, which means lower costs per dollar of GGR. So this is interesting. Macau is obviously booming at the moment. It's been a complete 180 from where we were during the pandemic, but yet the stocks are still down, which is not a good thing, but that is a different story. Excuse me a moment. Let's do this in one take. Still in Macau, JP Morgan now says that the January GGR run rate is looking like a $2.4 billion month, which I think would be the biggest month since we reopened. They said that the run rate is tracking at an average of 619 million US per day since the beginning of January. And in fact, in the third week of January, it was a little bit higher, 628 million per day, suggesting an increase as the month progressed. And they also said that they expect EBITDA to be up 8 to 9% in 2024 compared to 2023. So that is interesting as well. Both JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley very bullish on Macau. Now, it would be very remiss of me not to mention the Las Vegas Sands figures that came out, well, today for me, yesterday for you. The Q4 2023 figures came out, and the adjusted EBITDA was a whopping $1.2 billion US for the quarter, and the big headline number was 544 million US adjusted EBITDA for MBS, for Marina Bay Sands, and that is double the 2022 number and up 11% sequentially from the previous quarter, Q3. You can probably hear the rain really starting to pour down here now. I'm on the edge of this, so I'm a little bit undercover, but I'm also getting rained on a little bit too. But anyway, the things I do for on the run, that's okay. Now, what else can we say about this? So up 11% sequentially, double compared to 2022, the year before. They mentioned a high hold for MBS, 71 million above expectation. So they played lucky this is on rolling turnover. But the 544 million, wow, that is just for a quarter, obviously is more than 2 billion. What is it, 2.17 or something billion? And that is above the 2 billion number that Rob Goldstein came out and said, I think about a year ago. He said, we believe we can get 2 billion EBITDA. Well, adjusted property EBITDA versus EBITDA, but let's just call it the same thing for now. He said we can get 2 billion out of Marina Bay Sands, and at the time people were like, really? But well, there you go, almost there, or indeed there if you count adjusted property EBITDA as the metric. The margin was 51%, incredible. The adjusted property EBITDA margin on turnover, 51%. Wow, what a profitable business. So well done there. And then also, if you look at the Macau side of the equation, The adjusted property EBITDA there for all of Macau was 654 million, and apparently they played a little unlucky. They estimate about 40 million unlucky. So this allows us to do an interesting comparison. If you take the 544 million with 71 million lucky, and we take 71 million off it, we go down to, what's that for, 73 million, and you take the 654 million unlucky and you add the 40 million that they say that they should have won that they didn't, that's obviously 694 million, and what is that? That's about 148%, if I'm not mistaken. So 48% bigger in EBITDA, adjusted property EBITDA. Macau is bigger than Singapore, yet look at the GGR comparison. I mean, last year the GGR in Macau was 23 billion US, the GGR in Singapore is usually about 5 billion US. So 4.6 times the size in GGR Macau, but maybe only 50% more in adjusted property EBITDA. So it shows you that Singapore is a much more efficient operation in terms of profitability per dollar of GGR. And we also had a split, quite interesting, for Macau between the properties. So Venetian, Londoner, Parisian, and the Plaza. So Venetian was apparently, this is I think GGR numbers, 748, or maybe net income, 748 million, 589 million for Londoner, 222 million for Parisian, and 192 million for the Plaza. So I've actually done the sums on this. If you count Venetian as 100%, the Londoner is 80% of Venetian, which is pretty good. I mean, Venetian's had all the advantage of brand equity for so long, yet the Londoner is already up to 80% of Venetian. The Parisian is 30% of the Venetian, which sounds about right. It was obviously a bit more than that before Londoner came along, and the Plaza is about 26% of the Venetian. So you can think, well, Londoner is nearly a Venetian, Parisian is a third of a Venetian, Plaza is a quarter of a Venetian. If some of you don't know what the Plaza is, because a lot of people don't know that name, it's just the Four Seasons. So some people lump that in with Venetian, and we haven't even counted Sands Macau in that calculation. So Sands are always first in the earnings and in the reporting season. So Sands were out today, yesterday for you, and the others will shortly follow. So it'll be very, very interesting to get the year end of the Q4 numbers. Also, as part of that announcement, a bit of a, well, I wouldn't say reshuffle, but new titles at Sands. So Grant Chum has now been designated as the CEO of Sands China Limited. So big congratulations to Grant Chum, well deserved, I think. Watched Grant over the last decade. He's been working with Sands now for a decade. Obviously started off as an analyst and then joined Sands under Sheldon Adelson's reign, for want of a better word, and obviously has the faith of Rob Goldstein. And well done to Rob Goldstein for relinquishing the CEO title at Sands China. Obviously has not done that for Las Vegas Sands, but well done for doing that and going back to how it used to be back in the days of Ed Tracy. I mean, even before Ed Tracy, Steve Jacobs, he who shall not be named in the Sands universe, but I'm allowed to name him. They were always CEOs, and then what happened when I think when Ed went, Sheldon decided to take the CEO title himself, and that's the way it stayed. And then Rob continued on when Mr. Adelson passed away in early 2021. That's the way it stayed. But now the CEO title back with the person running the show in Macau. So that's interesting. Dr. Wilfred Wong is staying on as vice chairman. So he's got the same title as me, but his company's 10,000 times the size of our company. But he has the vice chairman title, so obviously they wanted to bit of a, how can I say this politely, experienced gentleman to stay there as well, along with Grant, because Grant is not even 50 yet, 48, but a well-matured 48 who's been doing a lot of the running of the company for 10 years. He started off as Chief of Staff, he then went to CEO, he's now went to COO, he's now CEO, so I don't think anybody thinks he's too young for the job. I think he's got the experience, and good luck to him. So what a great job for Grant Chum. And Sands also has the advantage of Dr. Wong being there as Vice Chairman. Dave Sun's still there. Dylan Williams, there was a reset designation of Dylan, remains as General Counsel, now also Company Secretary, although I think he might have been as well. But he's definitely got a promotion along there. Along the way as well. So look, there's the news for the week. I thought I'd mention the shows that are coming up in 2024, at least the external shows. So of course we've got ICE coming up pretty soon, just in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, something like that. February the 6th to the 8th in London. There'll be 5 people from IAG there. Regulating the Game in Sydney, March 10 to 15. Our good friend Paul Newsome. We've got the IAG International Summit, May the 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Did I mention that Regulating the Game was in Sydney? I think I did. We've got G2E Asia. G2E Asia have already announced their dates, June 4th to the 6th in Macau. And then we'll head down to Sydney for AGE, the GTA's annual show in Australia. That is August 13 to 15, and of course in October G2E in Las Vegas, October 7th to the 10th. So they're the shows that IAG will be attending. Of course, we'll have our own events as well. We'll have our Power 50, we'll have our MADS, we'll have our Super September Academy, and so forth. And that is about it from me. What else do I need to say? The run will continue. I will get out of Melbourne. I'm trying to get out of here. I will head off to a couple of places in Asia, but on the way to spend a few days there. On the way to, but not in Macau. On the way to London. London, February the 3rd. I'll arrive for ICE. And then I'll be there, and then I plan to go to Cyprus to check out COD Mediterranean, and I plan to go to Incheon to check out INSPIRE, and I'll report from both of those places, of course, to you. And then finally back to Hong Kong and Macau, maybe sometime in perhaps the 3rd week of February, something like that. So that is it for me. Have a great weekend. I hope this rain goes away in Melbourne. They say in Melbourne, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. But I've been waiting a few hours and it hasn't gone away. Anyways, have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. That's it for me. Bye for now.